Okay, so we are going to be starting our Systems of Equations unit. And before we get into today's lesson, there's just a couple of things we need to know about systems of equations before we get started. So first, what is a system of equations? A system of equations is two or more lines graphed on the same grid. Okay, and then we're going to be finding the solution to a system. So what are we talking about when we say the solution of a system? It is the point where the lines cross. So there's a little introduction to systems of equations. So today we are going to find the solution by graphing. So we're going to be solving systems of equations by graphing. So you're going to see something that says find the solution. And it's going to give you two equations, like y equals negative 4x minus 3 and y equals 2x plus 3. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to graph both lines. So remember, we're trying to find the solution. So we're trying to find the point where the lines cross. So in order to do that, we need to graph. So we are going to draw a nice big graph. We need to go up to positive 3 and down to negative 3. So right here. So our x, we go 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. And our y-axis, we have positive 1, 2, 3, and negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. So we have y equals negative 4x minus 3. So you guys have learned how to graph linear equations. So now you're going to use that for solving systems. So we're going to graph our y-intercept first, which is negative 3. And then my slope is negative 4. So if my slope's negative, I know my line's going down. I can't go down on my graph, so I'm going to have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means if I want my line to look like this, I need to go to the left 1. And there's my first line. Now I need to graph my second line. So y equals 2x plus 3. So my y-intercept is now positive 3. My slope is a positive 2, so I know my line's going up. So my rise and run are 2 over 1. You can write the over 1 if you'd like. So I would go, I can't go up 2, so I'm going to have to go down 2. And if I want my line to look like this, I'm going to have to go to the left 1. Down 2 and left 1. And perfect, that's what we want. We want our lines to cross. So once we graph both lines, the next step is to find the solution. Which we said is where the lines cross. And so this point right here, that is the solution, which is x is -1 and y is +1. So we think our solution is -1, 1. So our last step is we are going to check our answer. So in checking your answer, you're going to prove that it is the solution, that -1, 1, when x is -1 and y is +1, both of these equations are true. So you're going to draw a line, and then we're going to check our first equation, which is y equals -4x minus 3 on this side, and we're going to check our second equation, y equals 2x plus 3 on this side. And so remember, we write an equation, or we write a point. X is first and y is second. So this is our x value. We're going to plug in to our equation for x. And the 1 is our y value that we're going to plug in for y. So we say y is 1. So 1 should equal -4 times x, which we said was -1, minus 3. So then we simplify. Does 1 equal -4 times -1 is +4. 4 minus 3. 1 equals, yes, 4 minus 3 is 1. So we solved correctly so far. It has to work in both equations though. So now let's go ahead and check the second equation. So we're going to plug in y again, which we said is 1, equals 2 times x, which we said is -1, plus 3. And then we're going to simplify and see if it makes our equation true. So does 1 equal 2 times -1 is -2. -2 plus 3 is +1. Yes, it makes both equations true, and that is why it is our solution. So -1, +1. Okay, let's look at your solving systems of equations by graphing assignment. So first, we want to graph both lines. So y equals x minus 4. So our y-intercept is -4. And then our slope is a +1, which means our line's going up. It's a positive slope, so it's going up. So I'm going to go up 1, which means I'd have to go to the right 1. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. My slope is 1 over 1. The rise and the run is 1. there's my first line. And then my second line, y equals negative 5x plus 2. So my y-intercept is positive 2. And then my slope is negative 5 over 1, which my slope is negative, so my line's going down because it's a negative slope. So starting at 2, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to go to the right 1 because my slope's negative. And that's all I can fit on the graph, and that's just fine because my lines cross just like we want them to. So step 1, we graphed both lines. Then according to our notes, our second step is we need to find the solution. So where do our lines cross? They cross right here. And so that point right there is our solution, which is x is 1 and y is negative 3. So if we plug in 1 and negative 3 into both of our equations, it should make both of them true. So let's check and make sure we didn't graph wrong and prove why that's the solution to this system. So y equals x minus 4 and y equals negative 5x plus 2. So I'm just copying down the two equations that we started with, and then I'm going to plug in 1 for x, and I'm going to plug in negative 3 for y. So y is negative 3 equals x, which is 1, minus 4. I'm going to simplify both sides, and 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Yay! Made that equation true. Now y is negative 3 equals negative 5 times x, which is 1, plus 2. Negative 3 equals negative 5 times 1 is negative 5, plus 2. Does negative 3 equal negative 5 plus 2? Yes, it does. So we know we graphed and solved correctly, and the point that makes both of these equations true is 1, negative 3. We showed it on the graph, and we showed algebraically. Okay, go ahead and complete your solving systems of equations by graphing assignment. Make sure to check your answers.